A statistician named George Box has said something to the effect, it's always misquoted, but something to the effect of all models are wrong, but some of them are useful. And I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you now, how all of these models can be wrong. These are always just a idealization of what might actually be happening in the world, but on top of that, we have errors due to residuals, we could have misspecified models, we might have hidden extrapolation or human error in fitting these models. There's always things that go wrong in models, and the math of statistics is essentially a way to capture as much of that error as we can and be as honest as we can with what we talk about. So we learned things like the hat matrix to figure out leverage of a point, and that's one way the model can be wrong. If there's high leverage points, the model parameters are going to be very different from what they should be. We also looked at studentized residuals and the importance of those and how they can help you find outliers, and internally studentized versus externally studentized in order to find one of them is a measure of outliers. The other one is a measure of how variable your data is. We looked at likelihood approaches and the AIC and BIC, and these are important for choosing a model. And again, this is a place where a researcher can be wrong, is choosing the wrong model. Even if you use AIC and BIC, your model can be wrong. We looked at confidence intervals and hypothesis test for the slope parameters. And this is another way of quantifying our model is definitely not the truth, but how close to the truth is it, and how compatible is our model with certain hypotheses that could be the truth, but we don't know. We also looked at how dependence can affect our model and how if our data was collected poorly, then our model is not going to work. And we saw the math behind a lot of these things and how if we actually sit down and look at the formula, look at our model, look at our data, we can start to see certain things that weren't obvious just from data output alone. So that's the end of this week. Next week we're going to be covering a few more practical things about choosing the correct models and using these F statistics and what all of this means.